Are you inclined to, for example, rehabilitate the Bataan Nuclear Power Plant? I mean, okay, I understand that you're saying there needs to be a policy implemented first and foremost, but are you open to possibly rehabilitating the
from my research and from analysis, Pinky, I'm not inclined to reopen Bataan Nuclear Power Plant because first of all, it's old. Second, it's shrouded in controversy, including corruption. Third, it's a very emotional issue already for many people, including the Bataan local government.
But what can we do with that? We paid so much in 20 years' time.
There are proposals because the government owns that, I think, 400 plus hectares already. There are proposals to convert that into a liquefied natural gas terminal because again that is close to the sea and it has deep water, so we can actually convert that area. But the plant itself, I'm not inclined to reopen that. No? So, it's very dangerous.
So you talked about coal. Coal would be the cheapest, but
cheaper,
yes. But coal isn't clean.
Coal isn't clean. Technology is improving. There is now different types of technology, like the supercritical technology that is cleaner.
So there could be clean coal? Is that what you're saying?
It really depends who you talk to. If you talk to the renewable guys, they say there's no such thing as clean coal. But if you talk to the coal guys, they say there's such thing. But I think, again, it's a time frame. I don't think tomorrow or next year or 2 years from now we can go all renewable. No, that's impossible, Pinky. I'll tell you now, because the technology for base load is not available with renewable yet. But let's look at the time frame of maybe 15 years, maybe a time frame of 20 years.
At least we're looking forward.
And technology is evolving.
Yeah.
Technology is evolving. So hopefully in the next 5 years, solar will be as cheap as coal, and we will have batteries that can power 24/7.
Of course, when we talk about renewable energy, we're talking about solar and we're talking about wind. Okay, so we talked about coal, but problem is we have one of the highest electricity rates in Asia. Are there ways, do you see ways to be able to cut down the cost of electricity?
In the committee, we have one of our...
And that's where your sulit comes
yes,
in. Okay?
That's the third S, no,
okay.
Sulit. We're looking for ways to trim down some of the, we call it fat, no, and make it efficient, because our power industry is highly deregulated. So what we are paying now is the true cost of power, but we can still make it efficient. No? In all of those three sections, no, the generation, transmission, and the distribution, we can make it more efficient. If we make it more efficient in terms of pricing, in terms of contracting with each other, then I think that can be translated into cheap and reasonable power to our consumers.
Is that a promise you're making to the consumer, Senator, that you will be able to trim down the fat?
It's hard to promise with certainty, but we already filed a lot of legislation, no, because that legislation will be debated. No, we will invite experts, we will invite the stakeholders, and we will debate on that. No? And with our research, we see a lot of possibility of trimming it down.
By how much?
Like, for example, the systems loss. No? We can see a trim of about, not so much, but 3 to 5%. No? So hopefully with that bill in regulating the systems loss, we can help translate that into at least kahit papano, no, savings in our electricity bills.
Well, that'll be a big help, obviously, for everyone if you're able to do that, if you're able to bring down the cost of electricity. Just a topic I'd like to discuss before we go. Power plants. Secretary Cusi was saying that they want to be able to reduce the red tape. Apparently, an application for a power plant takes about 122 signatures. And my reading on that is that, at least my research, you said it takes 3 to 4 years to build power plants. Are we looking at a possible looming power crisis, blackouts? We had rotating blackouts last July, end of July. What are we seeing in the next year, 2 or 5 years?
Me and Secretary Cusi share the same thoughts, and we share the same direction in combating red tape. Just to give you an idea, no, for a hydropower plant, you need about 1,300 plus days, no, about 4 years plus, to put up just to get your regulatory papers in place, no? You need about 300 plus signatures. You need to crisscross 70 plus departments, no? And you have to crisscross 20 plus laws just to get a hydropower plant off the ground. Hindi pa ito construction. This is only permitting.
Yeah.
Construction is another question. No? It takes about 2 years to maybe 2 years and a half. So, more or less, siguro ranging between 4 years to maybe 5 years or more just to put up the plant. The problem kasi, Pinky, is sana may certainty. So, if you say 5 years, sana 5 years the plant will be there. But the problem is you don't know if 5 years the plant will be online. There's still a level of uncertainty which we need to fix. Our idea really is to make it certain. Pag sinabi natin 2 years to maximum 4 years, dapat 4 years the plant is ready online.
Okay, but something we need to be able to do very, very soon, sir.
I'm working with DOE. I'm working with Secretary Cusi in this one. I think the good thing is we share the same sentiment and we're putting forth reforms to change this.